everyone. This is a video that I've been wanting to make for so long now, like literally months. I've just been planning it and it just took me a while to get around to it, but this is going to be the Oddities tag. I've noticed a kind of similar thing to this on Tumblr, but I think it was like the vulture culture tag thing or challenge, I don't even know, but I had a search on YouTube to see if there was an existing oddities tag and there isn't, so I thought I may as well start one. So when I say like oddities, it could be any at all. It doesn't have to be dead stuff, it's just that's my favourite thing to collect, so I'll be mainly focusing on that. But if you collect like other kinds of oddities, like I don't know, like medical tools or post-mortem stuff or Victorian things or whatever, just whatever you make of the word, just go with that, like whatever. So I have my questions here next to me on my laptop, so if I keep looking away like I am now, I am sorry if that's distracting. But the first question is, what was the first item in your oddities collection? First item I got was actually from my mum. She sent it to me when I was like 7 and we were living in different states for a little while. So it isn't actually this whole thing, it's just in here. This, if you can see it. As far as I'm aware, it's a pelvis bone from what I think is a goat. All I know is it's a pelvis bone. I used to think it was from a sheep, but I'm thinking it's a goat. But yeah, that one right there. I also got a big cow vertebrae, but I gave it away when I was like 15, which is really stupid. Second question is, what is your favourite type of oddity to collect? Obviously mine would be dead things, but I guess more specifically my favourites are probably bones and skeletons and skulls and anything that's like osteology. Number 3 is, do you scavenge and clean your items or buy them? And which do you prefer? I mainly scavenge my items and clean them up, but I do buy some here and there, like usually things that I'm not very experienced in, so I usually buy furs and taxidermy and pinned insects and stuff in resin. Obviously I can't really scavenge things like medical tools, I kind of have to buy that, but yeah, I mainly scavenge. And I think I prefer scavenging because it's free and it gets me out of the house and it's fun, like the thrill of finding something under a bush and discovering, you know, what animal it is. Number 4, where do you keep your collection? I keep my collection mainly on a shelf over there, which I will show you in a minute, but I also have started spreading around like to the walls in my bookcase in the passageway and stuff like that because I'm completely running out of room. But I'm going to show you my shelf and stuff like that. So if you can see, this is where I keep them all, or most of them, on this shelf, and then there's also stuff on the floor, and there's like fur hanging from there. But then I also have one of my furs there, and then in the passageway that has skulls and I think a few wet specimens. I don't actually remember. Question 5, how long have you been collecting? Technically, I think only about 4 or 5 years. I know I started when I was 7, but I just kept those 2 items for a few years, and then I only got really serious about it when I was like 15. So yeah, I'd say technically 4 or 5 years. The 6 is, does age matter in your collection? I know that a lot of the more antique oddity collectors, obviously they prefer having age in their collection because it makes things like more valuable, has more history to them, stuff like that. I don't see age as a really big contributing factor in my collection to whether or not I want something or what value I place on it, but I do like to have older things, like if I can, because it's just got more stories and history and life behind it, I guess, which I always find really interesting. Number 7 is, what is one item that you've always wanted to have in your collection? Probably a taxidermied hare or a taxidermied fox. I want more things like that in my collection. 8 is, do many people know about your oddity collecting, and if so, what do they think of it? Yeah, pretty much everyone in my life knows about my oddity collecting because it's a little hard to keep secret. A lot of them think that it's quite odd, but they don't mind it. Like, they're usually quite supportive of it and they give me little dead things that they find around or show me stuff that they think I might be interested in and things like that. So it's all pretty much just support coming from everywhere, even if they think it's a bit weird. Number 9 is, what is your most special, precious or favourite piece in your collection? Now, this piece technically isn't complete yet. I only have the skull and jaw of it because the rest of it is being cleaned, but I can already tell it's going to be my favourite thing because it's something that I've wanted for so long and I'm just really eager to get it and make it and stuff. So it's a kitten skeleton. I have the skull and the jaw here to show you, but as I said before, the rest of it is all being cleaned outside, and yeah, but this is my kitty, which you've probably seen before if you saw my video of the top 5 oddities tag. but yeah, hopefully that's kind of in focus. Yeah, it's so cute. I also have the jaw, and as you can see on the skull there are some parts missing, like some bits of the zygomatics and also the premaxilla. I also only have one of the jaws here, the other one's been cleaned, but there it is. Yeah, I can already tell it's going to be one of my favourites. Number 10 is, what is the rarest or most odd item in your collection? A lot of the items aren't really that odd, they're just dead animals. They're not just dead animals, like they do have a lot of meaning to me, but there's nothing particularly odd about them. I also have some medical tools, but they're not very odd because, I mean, they're just common medical tools. So I chose a couple of bones that have some kind of deformities. One thing I'm just going to say before I forget that I can't show because it's not clean yet, but I have a sheep skull with crooked eye sockets, like slightly, but you can tell, and it's really cool. But I might put a picture here for you so you can see what it looks like anyway, so ooh. Next one is a sheep jaw, and kind of deformed, and the teeth are really like overgrown and gnarly looking, and I just really love it. So if you can see, it's kind of like there that it's really kind of deformed, and I just think that's so cool. Yeah, this gnarly thing would be one of the more odd ones that I have. And also a bone from a juvenile kangaroo, and it's a humerus, like this part here, and it's all like twisted and deformed and stuff. I might put a photo in here of it compared to the other humerus, which is just normal and not all gnarly and twisty and stuff. Question 11 is, what is something you would like more of in your collection? And I think that would definitely be taxidermy and more items that are not dead but are still really intriguing or weird and stuff like that. So I really want to get like post-mortem photography stuff. I'm really into that. More like medical tools and stuff from like the 1800s and the Victorian era, like old creepy stuff. I need it. I need that in my life. Number 12 is, do you have any oddities related jewellery? I guess in this case it'd mainly be like bone jewellery and stuff like that. And I have 4 pieces, all of them I made except for one that I bought. So that one that I did buy is just a butterfly in resin, and it's glow in the dark and stuff. And it's just on this cord thing. Hope you can actually see that. It's just a bone cross, you can see, with a little possum tooth on it. Tea-stained raven bone necklace thing with a key. Yeah, which hopefully you can see. And then the last one is just a little calf tooth. Yeah, it's just this one. And yeah. Number 13, what got you interested in oddities? Obviously I had my first ones from my mum, which I did find really interesting, and I just was so fascinated by the idea that that actually came out of a once living, breathing, moving animal. But then when I got to like 15, it got into more of a serious hobby. It made a big turn when basically I was on this beach on a holiday with a couple of my friends, and we were walking around. There were just bird skulls scattered all over the beach, especially in the seaweed, and there were all these shearwater bird skulls, because that breed of bird, when they migrate, they get really tired at the end, and so a lot of the time they just fall asleep in the sky and drop out of the air and, you know, fall to their deaths on the ground. So that's why there were so many of those skulls around. Yeah, that, and I just picked one up and I just was looking at it, and I realized again like how special that was to have something like that. So my friend who was there, who also collected oddities, she was more further into it than I was, and I always thought that her collection was really inspiring. And also a guy here on YouTube that I'm sure you know of, he was King Gutterface, but now he's, I think, the Vulture Prince, because he changed channels. But Joji, his collection really got me inspired a lot, like probably more than any of that. Number 14 is, would you ever collect any human related oddities, such as like skulls, teeth, hair, whatever? And I used to really dislike the idea of just myself collecting human related stuff. Like, I didn't have a problem with other people doing it, it's just that I wasn't really into it. I just felt weird having my own species in my room or whatever. But I've actually grown to kind of like the idea, and I have like only 2 things from humans, which is some teeth and some hair. I would actually really like a human skull or a human skeleton of the hand. So number 15 is, what is your latest addition to your collection? My latest addition I actually got this morning. It is a baby minor bird. It still doesn't have a name yet, and hopefully you can actually see. I'm not sure if you can. I'm really sorry. but yeah. 16. What was the first piece that you found, assuming that you scavenge your oddities and you do the whole dead things thing? That was one that I actually mentioned before when I was 15 and we were on the beach and we found all those bird skulls. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's the shearwater. Number 17, what was the first piece that you bought? I'm pretty sure this is the first piece I bought, I could be wrong, but partial goat skull, and I got it from the medieval fair for $20, and I love it so much. They painted it, it's really greasy inside. If you can see the yellow, they painted it white. I'm thinking I might actually need to clean this up properly since they obviously didn't. It stays on, see this one comes off. And you can see there, the crappy paint job there. Yeah, so that's the Oddities tag. I hope you enjoyed it and it wasn't like boring or anything. I don't know, I've never made up my own tag before ever, so hopefully this goes kind of okay. People I tag, I'm just going to type up and put in a little black screen thing because it's just easier. Aside from that, I also just wanted to let you know, whilst on the topic of oddities, that I recently have restocked my Etsy and I put up a bunch of like my bone art and decorated skulls and stuff like that from my recent exhibition. So I'm going to leave a link to that in the description if you want to go see it. I just thought I'd let you guys know because I know that a lot of you are interested in the oddities stuff. Thank you again and I'll see you next time.